It's the year in review on the 3 Knockdown rules. Steve Kim, Mario Lopez talking boxing. Mr. Lopez, this has been a hell of a year for the sport. Really, I can't complain one bit.
We've had a great couple years now to come to think
about it. But this one
it.
here stood out.
This was great. This was great too. But the sport seems to be in a healthy place.
Yeah.
Right now. Let's hope it continues. Shout out to our baby New Year, Buffalo
Absolutely.
Knuckles.
What's up, guys?
Third man in the ring, Arthur Mercanti. Let's start off with
Jack Reese.
Yes, our fights of the year. And I can honestly tell you, this is like the NFC. It's deep. I can't remember a year with this many legitimate, solid quality fight of the year candidates. Let's just go through some of the list here.
Okay.
Nano Inoue decisioning Donaire, Julian Williams, Jared Hurd, Danny Roman, TJ Doheny, Juan Francisco Estrada over Secretsetso Rungvisai, Artur Beterbiev stopping the nail, Alexander Gavozic in 10, Errol Spence in a war against Sean Porter, Pacquiao defeating Keith Thurman, Andy Ruiz upsetting Anthony Joshua, Gennady Golovkin surviving Sergey Derevchenko, and then Jermell Charlo rallying late to beat Tony Harrison. What stands out to you?
Listen, so many great fights, and when you think about Beterbiev and Gavozic, two guys in their prime, undefeated, the stakes that were there, that's what you want to see in the sport, and the fact that he was able to stop him in the 10th in dramatic fashion, that was some world-class stuff. And then you, along the same lines, you see Errol Spence with Sean Porter fight. We were both at here in L.A. where it looked like Sean was coming on, but
late knockdown swung it.
Late knockdown swung it and ended up, that was a great fight. And then also Pacquiao, who continues to just marvel and I think make a case for being one of the best fighters ever.
At age 40.
At age 40, stopping a young, undefeated welterweight and dropping him.
That might be the best win of the year. That might be the best win of the year.
No, with all those great fights, no, I think the best win of the year and the best fight of the year was Andy Ruiz knocking out Anthony Joshua in the 7th round, the first go-around. Not only was it one of the greatest upsets ever, okay, but the optics, where you had a guy who looked like that was straight out of Central Casting, looked like a Greek god, going up against a torta of a man who looked like he didn't, you know what I mean? And the fact that it was at Madison Square Garden, and they ended up knocking him out in a decisive fashion, dropped him 4 times. There was just shock. The follow-up, and which I thought was excellent on DAZN, where they did one night. That was great. Like, that was like a old school 24/7. That really just, it transcended, right? The sport itself. That, hands down, has to be the fight of the year.
Wow. You know what?
Come on. You can't argue with that, Kim.
I think that's hands down the upset of the year.
Fight of the year, upset of the year.
In my view, couple thoughts here. Danny Roman, Doheny, Estrada, Secretsetso Rungvisai, I believe was on April 20th at the Forum. That's personally my favorite night of the year covering a fight, because I thought it was absolutely action-packed throughout at the Forum. Errol Spence, Sean Porter, I thought was some of the best competition I saw, where Sean Porter earned so much respect in defeat, a certain type of respect he couldn't get in so many victories. Pacquiao Thurman, I thought, was the best pure victory for any fighter given the circumstances. Derevchenko Golovkin was the fight where I said, wow, Golovkin looks his age. He's lost an inch or two off his fastball. Charlo Harrison, I was just at. That was great competition.
Yes.
My fight of the year is Inoue Donaire. You have pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world streaking to greatness against the old lion, future Hall of Famer, making one last great stand, and then Inoue showing his mettle, turning it on late. That'd be my fight of the year. So many great candidates,
Excellent fight, and I would put Donaire as my comeback fighter of the year. Is that fair to say?
Him and Jamel Herring, I think, definitely up there.
No, the way he was able to not only be competitive, but have great moments in that fight and give Inoue some fits.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of like Klitschko getting more credit in defeat when he fought Anthony Joshua, because I personally thought he was going to get blasted out of there, the way the monster was killing everyone. So for me, he would be, and that was an excellent fight, and Inoue continued to impress me in different ways that night. That would be the comeback fighter of the year.
So we move ahead. Fighter of the year, I believe there's 4 main candidates. Canelo, Pac-Man, Inoue, and Jose Ramirez. What do you think?
Oh, man. Gosh, that's tough because look, Canelo had the biggest events, right? And
Two quality wins, Danny Jacobs, and then moving up 2 weight classes to beat Kovalev. He'd be my number one.
He was able to make history. But then who else was able to make history? Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
When the way he stopped Thurman. Inoue had such an impressive run, though.
Right.
Such an impressive run, stopping these guys in such dramatic fashion who had never been stopped. Ramirez, those 3 guys, to me,
kind of separated.
Are all like... Are all number 1. They're like almost a tight
1A,
number 1.
1B, 1C. Okay.
Yeah, whereas Ramirez, I would say, would be a solid number 2.
Right, and you thought he lost his first fight. Let's be fair about that. He got fits with that little southpaw. Yeah, but you know what? But Canelo, to beat Danny Jacobs as a middleweight is still a very good victory.
Sure.
How many guys move up 2 weight classes and then score a knock? Look, I don't care if Kovalev's at the very end. It's still an impressive win.
It's incredibly impressive. The only thing more impressive is a 40-year-old guy beating undefeated welterweight. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's that you flip a coin. To me, they're equally as I almost think Manny's even more impressive, bro. I got to be honest. Just because
40.
He's 40. Guy's 40. You don't fight that long and fight undefeated young guys in their prime and still drop them and beat them. So I think you gotta kind of go Manny.
For him, 40 is the new 30.
I mean, I'm almost thinking he's 1A, Canelo's 1B, Inoue's 1C.
Round of the year, I think this is Reagan Mondale, landslide. Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, round 3, June in Garden. I'll never forget that round.
Well, that's why it's also the fight of the year. I agree. That's the round of the year.
You know, trainer of the year. I have to give Eddie Reynoso credit. He's the guy, because, look, a lot of guys, when they get that one secretariat, that one horse, they're kind of known as that guy. But the fact he's been able to add to his stable and then develop other guys like Julio Cesar Martinez, and then he added Ryan Garcia.
Who looked really impressive in his last fight.
You know, Oscar Valdez is still getting it. Then he got another heavyweight, Frank Sanchez, talented Cuban. Eddie Reynoso is no longer just a one-trick pony.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not like a lot of people say your boy Virgil, who trained Andre Ward.
Yeah, Virgil. Right, he's never been able to build upon it.
That's right.
Virgil Hunter.
It's Virgil Hunter, excuse me, yes. So it's been tough. He's been able, because he was in a very Virgil Hunter situation, but yet he's been able to expand and have success with other fighters.
Knockout of the year, the one that stood out to me, I don't know if you agree or disagree, Deontay Wilder vaporizing Louis Ortiz, probably down 5-1, maybe 6-0 on the scorecards. Mario, I've seen a lot of punchers. I've never seen a guy with an eraser quite like Detonate Wilder.
One punch knockout, yes, but then wouldn't you say the 7th round with Ruiz Joshua too?
Yeah, but generally knockout of the year is about that one punch.
Okay, you're getting meticulous now.
Yes, I am. I'm a meticulous type of guy.
One punch knockout? Well, then yes, you go with Wilder.
And rounding things out here, prospect of the year.
I go Virgil Ortiz. Easy.
With the bullet, right.
Yes, I really do.
The other 2 guys I want to mention, Boots Ennis out of Philadelphia. He makes his debut January 10th on Showtime. I think 2020.
Great name.
Jerron Boots Ennis. Yeah.
Boots Ennis.
Very nice young man, by the way. And also another kid that I believe is going places very fast. The Dream, Israel Madrimov, trained by Joel Diaz.
Nice.
Will be a guy within a year or 2, will be a world champion. And soon after that, will be on the pound-for-pound list.
I also like the kid who fought Oscar Valdez recently that went up a weight class.
Blue Nose, Adam Lopez.
That kid is tough.
Yeah, good fighter.
That kid's a good little prospect, and he went up, and he was giving fits and winning that fight before he got stopped, which I thought was a tad premature. But maybe he did him a favor with that. But I thought he proved a lot. That's another kid that I was more impressed with in defeat.
Event of the year. 2 of kind of, look, there's a lot of fight cards, a lot of big fights that happened. A couple things really stood out to me. Was KSI Logan Paul at Staples Center, because that got a lot of attention. And then the rematch, the duel in the desert, or what they called it, the dunes. Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz 2. You know, you look at Saudi Arabia, I know people are not going to like it, but Eddie Hearn's made it very clear. There's going to be more events in Saudi Arabia. Money talks.
I don't have a problem with that. I actually enjoyed the fight being in the afternoon. I love day drinking. And the fact that you can, hang out in the afternoon and have a little carne asada, be outside, watch the fights. I think it's great. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it and happening that. As far as, look, the KSI Logan Paul, I don't know if I agree with the event of the year. It did surprise that fight actually turned out to be a little entertaining. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they're doing more? They're doing more? It's brother now, right?
His brother is fighting another guy out of the UK. Now, here's the funny part about that card. That's going to be in Miami on Super Bowl weekend, that Thursday, January 30th.
I love when there's fights before the Super Bowl.
And it's a good card. Forget Demetrius Andre against Luke Keel. I don't care about that. But Danny Roman's taking on his WBA mandatory. That's going to be a tough fight. Joseph Diaz is challenging IBF 130-pound champion Tevin Farmer. They're actually making that Logan Paul fight, or Jake Paul, the co-main. And I'm like, that's where I'm kind of like, geez. There's some very good fighters being knocked down a peg. But look, it's here to stay. And Eddie Hearn is a promoter. He's not there to be a moralist. He's not there to be the ethical standard of anything. And look, if you're the Zone and you need to derive subscribers, this is part of the way you do it. Mario.
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
I told you I like gimmicks.
And no one has to watch everything.
Sure.
No one has to watch everything. Mario, it is 2020 very soon here. The decade has gone by fast.
Can you believe that, dude? We're literally going to go into the roaring 20s.
Right. And
Let's hope
so
it's the roaring
last
20s.
week,
Let's hope, yes.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
ESPN, and I was assigned Floyd Mayweather. We talked about the discussion for the fighter of the decade. I got Mayweather. Tim Bradley, who knows Manny Pacquiao very well.
You chose Mayweather?
It was chosen for me. I was assigned.
Okay. Well, then.
I was assigned. It's just for the record.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. In other words, to make the case for him.
Right.
Yes.
They said, you got Mayweather. Tim Bradley, you faced Manny Pacquiao 3 times. You get him. And then Dan got Canelo. Okay, so again, I just want for the record, I think all 3 have a case. Who's your guy?
All 3 absolutely have a case. I'll break each down, in my opinion. You can't deny Mayweather's impact. I think he's absolutely had the biggest events, right? And he was involved in the most lucrative fight in prize fighting history. However, it's hard for me. I struggled calling him the fighter of the decade because he didn't fight that often. What did he fight?
10 times.
Okay.
3 years, he fought none.
Oh,
and then one of those years, he fought 1 time, fought Connor.
Well, that doesn't even count, bro.
That's a part-time prize fighter.
That doesn't even count in my book. You know what I mean? That was a novelty, just like when he fought that Asian kid, 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It's like, look, he's fighting like 17-year-old Asian kids that are 2 weight classes below him, and
Who aren't
Pacquiao's fighting.
Who aren't even boxers.
Right, and Pacquiao's fighting welterweight undefeated young champions in their prime.
Yes.
Okay?
I agreed.
So the lack of fights, I think, hurt his case in my eyes.
I don't disagree.
But the events are incredibly
and his impact
significant in the money he commanded. I get it. So he's in the top 3.
Yes.
But I don't put him number 1. I think it comes between. I honestly would lean towards Canelo, but I think Pacquiao is a strong second. And I say Canelo because he became the biggest star in the sport. He fought frequently by today's standards.
Yes, he did.
Right? How many times did he fight?
Pacquiao, I didn't count.
No. I'm talking about Canelo.
Canelo, at least 20.
At least 20.
At least
right?
20.
Okay. So, and his level of opposition was great.
Bar none.
Outstanding. So, because of his consistent, the consistent number of times that he fought, the level of opposition, the fact that he's the biggest star in the sport, to me, I think he's the fighter of the decade. With Pacquiao being a very close second because he, too, was involved in the biggest event. Even though he didn't win, he was able to still have other significant fights, and he made history recently beating Thurman still maintain being a champion. Do you not like my...
No, very good points. But let me give you the case for Mayweather that I pointed out. Still went undefeated, didn't have a lot of fights, but victories over Cotto, Pacquiao, and Canelo.
Cotto, when he was a little long in the tooth.
Okay.
Canelo, when he was weight drained and made him come down and still very young.
People are gonna hate here and there.
And no, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Am I lying? Yeah. You know what I mean? Cotto long in the tooth. Canelo, when he was still a baby and made him come down to 152. That's huge. Okay. And Pacquiao, when it was already 5-6 years too late.
Now.
But fine.
Okay, but I'm pointing that out. Right. And
right,
also,
after he got knocked out
now,
from Marquez. Exactly. Thank you.
Now,
exactly.
with Canelo...
Those are big differences. Those are big points. Am I crazy?
No, now with Canelo, let me point this out. I think absolutely you make some great points. But also, the clenbuterol thing has to be held against him.
Come on, man. You're crazy. He was
carne
cleared from
asada.
that. It was carne asada, which is popular with a lot of... Oh, get out of here, man.
Also,
Come on.
the first
Get out of my
Golovkin
Mario
face.
probably test positive right now. He was just in Mexico.
Okay,
I eat carne asada all the time.
the first Golovkin fight, he didn't win. Second fight he may have not won. I mean, and
Wait, what are
the
you talking about?
Lara,
First fight?
Trout,
Okay.
got a lot of close decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm just kind of pointing out the devil's advocate point of view here.
Yeah, but Kim, I agree with you on that.
Okay.
I don't think he won the first fight. I think the second one was actually closer to a draw. Yes, but look at who he's fighting. He's
No
in
doubt.
there with
No,
him.
I'm just
He's
pointing out-
in there with him.
No.
Okay, and it's close and competitive. He's not getting blown out either.
Hey, again,
But look at his resume
Mario,
as opposed to the other guy's
I don't
resume.
disagree, Mario. I just
Okay.
want to be like Fox News, fair and balanced.
No,
now,
I
as
know.
it relates,
Well, we pointed out.
as it
I'm
relates-
pointing out all the
now,
things that we
right,
said. and
as
the
it relates
facts,
to Pacquiao, here's his strongest point. And I was thinking about this as I'm writing some of the articles. Mario, when Marquez planted him face first, that was 7 years ago, and I wrote him off. I said, oh my God, what a great career. God, it's over.
Hell of a career.
Then the guy takes a pretty bad decision where I thought he looked very old, but I still thought he beat Jeff Horn
So did I.
in 2016 or 17.
We thought that was it. Oh my
We
God,
thought that was it. Like, oh
for
God,
sure.
what a great career, though. It's amazing. That's the most remarkable career. Just
Oh no!
Like-
Now you're going body of work.
Yeah.
That's different
No, but I'm
argument.
ta- no,
Body of
no,
work.
but I'm talking
Look, I put
yeah.
Pacquiao in one of the all-time greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time. That's different.
Right. No, but I'm just saying, in terms of having the most compelling, drama-filled career.
Okay, that's a different question.
No, but
now you're posing
agree.
different.
But I think there's a strong case for all three, but there's also
There's a strong case.
But it's whatever.
Stronger for those two in particular.
Yes. Mario, the stories of 2019, you were there, and this is one of the most memeable things I can remember before a fight, and you were in the belly of the beast there at the MGM Grand. Canelo and Kovalev, I like my naps.
Dude.
I usually don't do it right before a prize fight.
Dude.
That was unbelievable.
With the yes. Well, I got a little spoiled because I'm also a MMA fan, and I was looking forward to seeing the who was fighting that night for the UFC?
Masvidal.
Masvidal and Diaz.
The
right?
bad MF belt.
Right. The BMF. Right. So, and they actually showed it right there. So it was kind of cool if you were there, the best belts world. But it was a bad look for the sport,
Yeah.
seeing the guys at
Taking
the
a little
end.
siesta.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't think they'll ever do that again. I don't know if I'd consider that one of the stories of the year, but it was definitely.
Oh, it went viral.
It was
though.
definitely it was
For
definitely
those
a big
90
story.
minutes, it
Sure.
was a thing. It really
Sure.
was.
To me, the biggest story goes along with with the fighter of the year, and that's Andy Ruiz, in the sense that how he was able to be the first Mexican
Yep.
heavyweight champion, which is huge. I never thought I'd see that in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay, rise so quickly and then also fall so quickly.
Yep.
And here's the thing: the fall wasn't Buster. And here's the thing: people are putting more into it. It wasn't the Buster Douglas go lay down fall. Like when he came back after the Tyson victory in Holyfield. What did he take him out in? A couple of rounds, right?
4 rounds.
4 rounds. But it was like just a matter of time, right? The frustrating part was, and I think why people were so angry, is that if he really put in the work and had trained, I think it could have repeated. He could have repeated that, or given himself a really good chance to repeat that victory, because he still showed flashes with those fast hands. And he still was able to kind of close the distance with Joshua. He just wasn't able to take it up, to pull the trigger to take it up a little notch and do what he needed to do. But the fact that he showed up almost 20 pounds heavier, looked like he didn't take it for granted. He was partying the whole time. It was like the Rocky 3 movie, all in that 1 year. So to me, that's the story of the year with Andy Ruiz, and I'm intrigued on what happens from this point forward, because he's made a lot of money. Does he kind of call it a day and said, "Look, I'm financially set. I have no faith in him. I have no faith in him. Or because people are who they are. Right? You think he's a Chavez Jr.?
Look.
Or does he realize how many people he really let down, and he hears it from all raza, and he's
You know what I don't like?
He wakes up and
You know what I don't like?
it.
You know what I don't like? A couple things. He gets on TMZ after he comes back from the airport, and he thinks it's funny. I just ate too much. It's not funny.
No.
Just that approach right there. The other thing I don't like, and I thought it was a real lack of character, and it had nothing to do with me as a media member. Before that second fight, I know a lot of local media members in LA that have been supportive of Andy, that have helped Andy, that when Andy said, "Can you give me some help? I'd like to get some coverage here," they were always there for him. But when it came to that second fight prior to Saudi Arabia, when they would call, all of a sudden, Andy acted like he didn't know them. That's a lack of character. I don't appreciate that.
Is it, or was he trying to focus finally because he got in a little too late with the
Did
training?
you see him throughout the summer? Do you think? Come
No,
on, Mario.
No.
Stop.
I'm just. I'm no.
It's a lack of character. the lack of character.
Look,
and I felt bad for those people because those people do this out of love.
Sure.
And they don't do it for a lot of money.
No.
And they were there for him. And then all of a sudden, hey, Andy, can I come by camp? And you get no response.
No.
That's not a good guy.
I don't like that either, okay?
No.
I don't like that either. It's when you don't have much and all of a sudden you're thrust into the spotlight with a lot of money. A lot of people don't know how to handle that if you don't have smart people around you to.
Right, but that's one thing. But just ignoring people that, like, when you're literally saying, "Hey, can you
No,
take me?" And all of a sudden,
I know. But then, look. But what I'm saying is, you don't know. So the victory lap was too long, right? He clearly didn't get in there.
You know what Customato once said, and I said this a couple weeks ago: "Square pegs don't die round." He is what he is, which is fine. I like Andy, but some of these answers he's giving, where he thinks it's not that big of a deal, like, "Oh, I just ate it."
I think he had
He
the
is a
attitude.
round peg, though.
Oh wow!
I think he had the attitude. Well, I got one. Now he got one. Let's do the third. No, it doesn't work like that.
I know people that flat said, "Steve, I never want to see him fight again." Really, guys who are real boxing fans like Steve, I've written him off. Another big story.
I don't want to write him off, and I'm not saying that because I think if he can string together a couple, and I think he needs two victories against legitimate guys.
I'm going to ask you this
I
again.
wouldn't mind seeing him in the
I'm
mix.
going to ask you this again. Do you think
Okay.
he's back in the gym by March?
By March, I would like
See,
to think,
see that
man.
answer? Right
I
there,
would
that
like to
answer.
think-
Right
I
there,
can't
that
say.
answer.
I
That means
can't say.
no.
They say Jerry Rice was on the practice field the day after the Super Bowl every time.
No, during the Pro Bowl, Michael Irvin says this guy during the Pro Bowl would start working out, and he'd tell Michael, you had a lot of numbers this year. I'm coming back out. And Michael was like, oh, my God.
Yeah. Listen. No. Look.
That's why he's the GOAT.
Look at.
No doubt.
Look. Is he a Canelo or Pacquiao with the work ethic? That's why those guys are certain champions?
Right.
Of course not. But, like I said,
He's more Jamarcus Russell.
He could either get complacent or
Get complacent?
or
He's gotten complacent.
or stay complacent. He can either
Yeah,
stay complacent or he can finally get away. Because
Okay.
here's another thing: when you do get a taste of money, you want more, and the only way you're going to be able to get more is to be involved in events.
So you're
like
saying
that.
he has an appetite. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Hurry up,
We didn't
Fred.
cover this in the last show that we did, but I want to cover this. One of the big stories of this year, unfortunately, was Errol Spence getting to an auto accident. Really horrific one. We've all seen the footage 1 month or a few weeks after his fight with Sean Porter. We saw the interview on Fox. I saw it when I got back home. How did he look and sound to you?
After I saw the video of that car crash, I was amazed. I was like, my God, he was right. God really was with him because I can't believe he survived it.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for that. But I think he was being honest in that he couldn't talk much because it was a DUI. It is a criminal
A
matter
legal
now.
issue, right.
So
But
legal
how did he
issue.
sound to you?
Well, he's always sort of had that sort of kind of soul Southern drawl.
Texas
you know
drawl.
what I mean? I didn't put too much
Yeah,
into
a
it.
lot of-
He didn't answer Kenny's question though about did the teeth get knocked out? Yes or no? Because he didn't answer
Right.
that.
There's been a lot of rumors.
So
And I don't want to be Timex Social Club.
He
you
said
know?
he said he's cleared. Okay,
Take him at
He's been
face value.
medically cleared, so I'm going to take him for his word. It's going to be another thing when he gets punched
In the mouth.
In the mouth. So we'll see. But man, that accident looked crazy. So I'm going to have to take him for his word.
When that interview was going on, I was getting a lot of texts from people who were watching saying, oh, my God, Steve, this sounds bad. It looks bad.
That's the way he always talks. I've
And
seen a lot of
I
his
will
interviews.
say this. I was back in the media section where the food was, eating a sandwich, and they brought him back there through the green room. Said hello to him real fast. I've always liked Errol.
Yeah, he's a nice kid.
Very amiable, very friendly. Anyone that's dealt with Errol likes him. I'm glad to see him up and running. I just wonder, though, if I'm his handlers, I'd say, Errol, why don't we take the whole year off, get your body right and your mind right? It does seem like even if he's medically cleared, doesn't mean you have to fight in the first half of the year.
No,
You know?
of course not. But look, here's the thing, because I've actually been in a couple car accidents, unfortunately. One, I was asleep. I was in the back of a van asleep, and the driver went through the window. It was a bad one. Anyway, the doctor said because I was asleep and I was all relaxed,
It helped you.
it helped me. I was able to, and I flew around and
Yeah.
hit the window and the whole thing, right? Because he was drinking, ironically.
He was loose.
He might have been loose, and he might have not been. It might have just been like a.
Well,
like
not
a
wearing a seatbelt actually helped him, they said. That's amazing.
Oh, he didn't wear one either.
Yeah, he got thrown out.
Oh, damn. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that. I didn't know he
Yeah.
got thrown out. Son of a bitch. But so I think, honestly, it might have been.
It may have mitigated the damage.
It mitigated the damages. I really do. Now, If he got thrown out too, we don't know what the head, how much.
Yeah, I don't know the internal damage.
Right. I don't think though his handlers would allow him. He's a valuable commodity, so I don't think they'd allow him to go forward if he wasn't 100% medically cleared and he himself didn't feel up to it.
And
so.
as for his lifestyle, look, I'm not going to be judgmental. Let's be honest. We've all taken risks that we should not have.
Of course, absolutely. No one's judging there,
right.
but I think that's one of those wake-up calls like, hey, you know what? I'm Ubering it from now on.
Yeah, because look, you go to my credit card bill nowadays, 2/3 of it is Uber, because if I know I'm going to take one drink, and if I can't, I'm taking an Uber.
Of course, not worth it.
You know, Mario, another big story. Speaking of rise and fall, I want to mention Andrew Concio. Became the Cinderella Man, and then all of a sudden he gets released by Golden Boy by the end of the year, and I'm like, wow, this is a harsh game, harsh business,
That
man.
was a different version of an Andrew Ruiz rise and fall in the sense that but they're comparable. That was a Cinderella moment when he beat an undefeated guy that they weren't expected to beat Machado twice, which is a difference from Andy. We thought we were going to see that, right? Twice, where we know it's not a fluke. And then when he came back, by the way, that was another potential for a fight of the year. The one
Rene Alvarado.
What Alvarado? I like the Machado fight too, but the Rene Alvarado was very, very impressive in that fight. Look, and that's this sport, man. It's tough, and you fight these high-level guys. That could happen. I was just shocked, more not so much about the defeat itself, but the way Golden Boy chose to handle it.
Yeah, because they didn't like some of the comments, and that's one of the other big stories we have to talk about: Canelo versus Golden Boy. Now, look, we've talked about it. Here's my view: in 2020, I think Golden Boy needs to reset here. I'm just gonna say a few things. I like that company, a lot of good friends there, but some of the things I see, I'm like, When I see Eddie Hearn traveling thousands of miles internationally to go to a press conference in New York one day or LA, and then go to a club show at York Hall, incredible work ethic.
I agree.
Bob Arum, same thing. Oscar, if I'm the company, I sit down with Oscar. I said, Oscar, you don't have to go to every fight, but you got to go to more than you did last year. That's the bottom line. And the other thing is,
I agree with that.
They also have to concentrate on more than just Canelo and Ryan Garcia. They have other fighters that are really good. Concentrate on building them, and just don't go to Fantasy Springs all the time. Nobody wants to go there. You have a Chinese fighter that can draw in any Chinatown in America. Virgil Ortiz can be an absolute star. Start building other guys. Because if you have one star that holds you hostage, you're in trouble. You're one bad night away from your business plan being wrecked.
Well, I think that's what happened with Canelo and the attitude, let's call it, towards Golden Boy.
And that story's not over yet. There's still some tension. Trust me.
Well, look, he's at the point where he's such a megastar, much like Oscar was with Top Rank. That
the irony,
you start thinking,
the irony.
Exactly. You start thinking about, oh, well, I can do this on my own, and which is a lot more difficult because having a certain infrastructure and the know-how to make those, it's different. Rumors that his trainer, Reynoso too, wants to go out on his own, start his own promotional company. So, you know, greed always kind of plays into it. But I think they've got an ironclad contract. I don't think he's going anywhere. And if you think about it, what does he have to complain about?
Right.
He's made him. The guy's making like
let me defend
$35
Golden
million
Boy.
a fight.
Let me defend Golden Boy. They did a hell of a job with Canelo.
Hell of a job.
Yeah.
Hell of a job. 11 fights, 365 and whatever. I mean, come on.
One last thing. The other big story, and obviously since we know them well, and when this happened, we were stunned. Look, and again, never say never, but I never thought I'd see a day where Gennady Golovkin would not be trained by Abel Sanchez. Boxing is harsh, man. What a tough business.
Look, you would like to have thought that was going to go by the way of Hagler and
the Petronellis.
And I would say, because he's in the later stages of his career, 95% of career that was the case, right? But coming off of a loss, sometimes you feel and you don't necessarily want to throw them under the bus, but you want a new change of scenery. They say is always good. So you just want to
change of scenery was still Big Bear though.
That's
the
crazy. That's what I was just going to say.
He was literally a block away. There was no change of scenery.
The irony is that usually you want. Well, you didn't get me get there, but usually you want to change of scenery to feel invigorated. But the dude didn't move. That's what trips me out more than anything.
Mario,
the dude didn't move. He was in the same, and that's Big Bear's small.
When he was training with Jonathan Banks, they used Shane Mosley's old house. So Tom Loeffler and I, we go up there with some other reporters, and then we said, oh, let's go visit Abel. Yeah. So I don't really know Big Bear that well. So we get in the car, and I'm looking down at my phone, and next thing you know, Tom's shutting off the engine. All right, we're here. I go, what? You could literally throw egg. If Abel wanted to throw eggs at Golovkin while his shadow, he could do it. You didn't need a cutoff, man.
Dude, the irony is crazy.
One last thing here. Also, Danny Jacobs, Rozier. Look, I'm hearing that for a $15 million payday, after all those years of service, Jacobs tried to pay Rozier $100,000. Look, we're not expecting 10%, but $100,000 after years of service on a 8-figure payday, money usually is the reason why people break up. Anyway, before we move on, I want to mention 2 people here. We had a death of a very loyal fan and listener and friend, Juan Beasy. His death really hit a lot of people. I want to mention him. He was a great guy.
Wow.
Rest in peace. And also,
Avocado King.
I mean, he was great to us. He's great to everybody.
You know, I thought about him the other day because I read an article in the LA Times about how the avocado industry is basically, the cartels are starting to take that over. It's like the new drug trade now.
Yeah.
And I remember Juan was telling me
He had to
about
take
some
security, some extra
he had to
measures.
break off some. It's amazing.
Yeah.
$1 billion business.
Yes.
With all that. And so but yeah, what a great guy, huge fan. Smart guy, too. And
One of the most generous human beings. Touched a lot of people. And also a friend of Frank Espinoza. Shout out to her. I've been negligent in this. Jordan, a happy belated birthday. So with that said, Mario, contrary to what I tweeted, that's on me, we will be back in 2020.
That's right.
We will be back in 2020. Got a big year of boxing. So anyway, on behalf of everyone here at the 3 Knockdown Rule, Justin Buffalo, Knuckles, Tim, Smokin', Frazier, and Mario Lopez, this is Steve Kim saying goodbye, everyone.